Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Platitude Era podcast. Now, when you see the two of us together in the same room, that can only mean one thing, that some huge news happened that only rocked the very bedrock of the entertainment industry. What happened? Well, DC Comics had Fandome, which is their version of Comic-Con. And we're here to talk about the top 5 of DC's Fandome. Now, for those of you watching at home, brand new to the concept, don't understand, DC is the home of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and all their friends. And Marvel is the home of Captain America, Iron Man, and their friends. And this is DC's top 5. So, number 5 on the list is Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. What is this? Is this a video game or an animated film? Because look how good those graphics look. It made me think that it was an animated movie.
It's not. It's a game. It's made by the guys that did the Arkham series. So, the Avengers game is coming out, and the beta came out, and people were like, this is weird because it just plays like Destiny. It's not like a single-player, fun action-adventure co-op-y game. A lot of people were expecting the Spider-Man game. It would be like the Spider-Man game that came out in 2018, thereabouts. So, the Avengers game comes out, and it's like, oh, it's a forced co-op with a bunch of, like, missions game, and it'll be like Destiny, so like, people are kind of in on that. So I'm curious, I don't know if this will be your number 4, I don't know, we didn't discuss this, but I'm curious if Suicide Squad, blah, 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 because it's a focus on co-op, so I'm curious if it's going to do the same thing, or, you know, can I play this single player, can I play this with no friends, as I'm one to do, or am I forced to be, will I be reduced out of some content because I refuse to play co-op? These are the questions, but these are the people that made the Arkham series, so I can have faith with this, hopefully.
No, that's a very good question, but I mean, look at those graphics there. That's impressive how far next gen has come along.
It seems okay. I like how you say this, but it seems weird that every thumbnail I see for this game has this nasty looking Uncanny Valley Harley Quinn face. Like, it looks like a weird wax face, and for some reason all of the thumbnails for the trailer for this game are specifically that. I'm like, couldn't you do the whole thing, or just the logo? Why does it have to be the weird Uncanny Valley face? But to each his own, Rocksteady. Or excited. Warner Brothers Interactive, whoever.
I'm excited for it, and I think this game is gonna make me put away Fortnite and make me put away Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and try this new game out. I've been dying for something new, something different.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, the Arkham games are all pretty great. They're some of my favorite games, let alone superhero games or whatever, so I can be nothing but ecstatic.
Alright, so number 4 on our list, I'm going to give you guys a little clue and see if you guys can guess. And it's Wonder Woman, 1984. Now, this has got me excited, you know, watching Wonder Woman come back into action and dealing with what looks like an alternate reality, a villain that makes your inner desires come true, but they're not really. So was this kind of inspired by Batman Forever, when Edward Nygma would make people's inner desires come true, but it wasn't real?
I guess. I'm curious if it's like more of a Greek god thing, like I guess he's the god of greed or pride or something. Like, you know, God of War in the first game, so this is a god that makes your wishes come true or whatever, or that needful things kind of thing, where be careful what you wish for. We'll see.
I think it's going to be a little heartbreaking because her love returns to her, so there's going to be that sacrifice where she either has to choose between her true love or if she's going to have to choose between saving the world.
Until Flashpoint undoes it, just because Chris Pine is so charismatic.
Yeah, but the thing is that Chris Pine and that whole incident, he was in World War I.
Mm-hmm. But he only had a 50-50 shot.
That happened. All of that happened before the Flash was born. So the Flash goes back in time and creates Flashpoint. It's not far enough back to bring back Chris Pine.
I don't know. It's all a bunch of dumb comic book nonsense for babies, so I'm pretty sure they can do whatever they want.
And
wait, hold on, before you go on, as I interrupt you, did Patty Jenkins say she was going to make a third one or no? I remember that came up. I don't remember if he said this is the last one or if he's going to make one more.
That's a good question, because I know some articles came up about Patty Jenkins having some controversy. I don't know if it was with the studio or the producers, but that's going to be good to research and follow up. If you guys really want to help me out and write in the comment sections, that will save me a lot of research time. But that's a good point that you brought up. And another cool detail from Wonder Woman 1984 is that guy, that actor that's on fire right now, he got everyone's attention as playing the Viper in Game of Thrones, and nobody thought he'd come back, and then he came back as the Mandalorian, and now he's in this?
He wooed everyone with his bit part in The Equalizer Part 2, and only to astound even further in The Mandalorian. You forgot he was in The Equalizer 2. We watch a lot of shit.
I fell asleep during The Equalizer 2.
I wouldn't blame you. It wasn't good.
I remember watching the first one, and I was watching it before I went to bed, and I just wanted to watch a little bit, and then I had to watch a little bit more because I wanted to know what else was going to happen. And I ended up staying really late watching all of The Equalizer because I just couldn't stop. And then Equalizer 2, I was just surprised how it wasn't.
In the same vein as Taken Syndrome, it's a quite delightful, surprising first entry, and then it really sloughs off with a sequel that was unwarranted and unnecessary.
True to that. Were you a little disappointed that Wonder Woman 1984, they didn't put another famous song during the trailer?
I was confused. Well, I only saw the trailer once, but I was confused because this one seemed to dial back the fun, I guess. It seemed to take itself a little more seriously. It was focused a lot on Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig, which it only took me out of it because she's like so over the top goofy when she does comedy that her being serious, I can't help but feel like is ironic or sarcastic or something. It just felt weird to me having this mostly comedic actor playing a semi-serious cat lady, and it was being played seriously.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up.
It didn't do like the fun, like, cover of a song, or maybe it did. I don't remember if it did the whole like, oh, we're gonna do the beats of the song to action that happens in the trailer or whatever. I don't know. It felt pretty unremarkable when you compare it to the first one, which had like the cover of Blue Monday and just a lot of. Like, it's interesting, you brought up Pedro Pascal, who seems like he's going to be, like, where the joy and fun is going to come out of this movie, like him just kind of chewing the scenery, so it seemed weird to not really focus on him for this one. I know a lot of people were like, what's Cheetah going to look like when she goes full cat? And then we saw him like, reminiscent of Bat CG from Black Panther a little bit, maybe.
Well, I wonder if there's going to be another form of Cheetah, because the character's called Cheetah, and in the trailer did not look like a cheetah, like you said, looked like a Black Panther.
Well, I meant the bad CG from the fight at the end of the movie.
But it did look like a panther, right? A black cat?
No, she was like yellow with black spots or something. I only saw the trailer once, and for some reason, this is your show, by the way, so it's interesting that you don't remember what she looked like. I'm pretty sure it was pretty close to, the comic book interpretations.
It was really fast, and I missed it, and it's going to be green screen later right here, so...
As soon as you learn how to do that.
Well, everyone, that's Wonder Woman 1984. Now, moving on to our list, number 3, Gotham Knight. That game looks awesome.
It's funny that you chose that one because back to my wonderful trivial knowledge of all things game, or specifically in this franchise. So this is made by Warner Brothers Montreal, the team that made Arkham Origins, which is considered the weakest of the franchise. So they might have made this game with the bad team, and then they made the Suicide Squad with the good team. So funny that you have Gotham Knights a little higher, because it looks and feels like a co-op reskin or whatever of the Arkham series, just minus Batman. But go on, it looks interesting.
It does. Ever since I was a little kid, I always want to play as one of the Bat family characters, Robin, and then Knighthood or Red Hood looks really cool, Batgirl. So I'm like really excited that I get to play not as Batman, and now the kids, Dad has moved on to greener pastures, and the kids are taking over.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, because the Arkham games had DLC where you could play as Red Hood or Batgirl or Robin or Nightwing or any of those guys. So it seems like now they're just making another Arkham game with the co-op aspect. I saw a gameplay, it was like a 10-minute, 9-minute gameplay video or something where they're like, it's focused on 2-player co-op, so that has me a little more leaning towards hopefully, and I think they said you could play it single player. I didn't see enough about Suicide Squad, so that's why I'm curious if it's going to be heavily focused on multiplayer over Gotham Knights, which, you know, it's 2-player, but maybe you can do the whole shebang single player. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll have to wait. And then now you got me doubting my list because you said that's the bad team. And then when I was talking about Suicide Squad, you said, I don't know where this is on your list. Were you talking about this game?
Yeah, I had a feeling if you had Suicide Squad at 5, I'm like, oh, does he have Gotham Knights on this list? If not, fine. But if he has it higher, I should warn him. And warn everyone watching, which is 4 people. I don't know.
Well, I was just really excited. It's the Bat family. I'm finally going to get to play as Robin, and I'm going to get to play as Red Hood.
Well, just to
Nightwing too. Don't forget Nightwing.
Just to inform you, or just to give you a little extra, knowledge on the situation. The B team was given another Batman game, and the A team was able to go a little bit out of their comfort zone and made a Suicide Squad game. So maybe a little bit more of the creative juices are flowing with the A team than the B team.
Looks really, really exciting. And then now you put doubt in my head, so I'm 50-50.
Well, why are all these games focused on co-op? I just want a good single-player story. Make them another Spider-Man. Oh wait, they're gonna, and it has Miles Morales. Fingers crossed it's good.
It just
but that's
seems
not
like
DC.
A good story that the Batman goes missing and now the kids have to take over.
Yeah, but if it interferes in my solo play, then we might have issues.
Yeah. You guys
if you're diverting your team between solo and co-op.
You guys ever seen that Hangover movie? Remember when the kid with the beard was talking about being a lone wolf?
Mm-hmm. Kid, yes. Interesting to say for a man in his late 30s when that movie came out, maybe. But you do you, homie.
All right. Now we're moving on to number 2. Everybody's talking about it, so you know what it is. The Batman.
Oh, so you're number 1. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Well, I mean, look at that, how they set it up. It's definitely, they're following the Chris Nolan, who made the really good Batman trilogy. They're following his blueprint. So they got this dark world, no hope. And the only light of hope is one person who's trying to become a symbol. But this is young Batman, and he's way in over his head. He's never dealt with anything like this.
I'm of 2 minds right now. I have a lot of thoughts about this. A, I'm getting a lot of James Bond syndrome. Did I say the word syndrome before? I'll say it again, because who cares? Because I'm a hack, and I'm not creative. I'm James Bond syndrome, where it's like, a new James Bond comes out. I don't know, he doesn't look right. He just looks like that guy I saw him in other movies as. So I'm watching Pattinson on the screen, on my 4.5-inch cell phone screen, as cinematic as it gets. And I'm like, it just looks like Robert Pattinson. So that's kind of taken me out of it. I'm pretty sure when the Batman Begins trailer first came out, people were like, isn't that weird guy from The Machinist? So I think a lot of people are me personally, I'm hesitant. Just like I'd say, hold off on those pre-orders for those games, folks. I'm a little hesitant right now because it's like, it looks a little something. I trust Matt Reeves. I like those monkey movies. Excuse me, ape movies. They're completely different species. We'll see. I mean, there's bad Batman movies, but for the most part, they're always entertaining. So there you go. And then also, I'm afraid they're throwing a little too much at the wall to see what sticks. There's like 4 or 5 main baddies that you're cramming in this one movie, and potentially like setting up a 6th. So like, you got to set up Gordon, you got to set up Batman. Now you got to set up Catwoman, you got to set up Penguin, you're setting up Riddler, and maybe behind the scenes you're setting up Court of Owls too. There seems to be a lot just for the start. Like, it feels like what you did with Batman v Superman, but you're doing it earlier with your origin story movie. So I'll wait till the movie comes out, but these are a couple of little caution flags that the trailer threw out at me.
So you heard it here, everyone. You've got a bunch of plates spinning. You got the Gordon plate, the Penguin plate, the Riddler plate, the Owl plate, the Catwoman plate,
Oh, yeah,
the new
Alfred.
Batman plate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alfred. too.
Alfred plate, which
So
they
you
didn't
got a
show
lot
Alfred.
to... Yeah, and then you have like your gang of devil worshippers or something. They're wearing skull makeup. They're not clowns, they're skulls or whatever, so they're tricking you a little into thinking it's Joker, but it's not Joker.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. Visually it looks pretty interesting.
And I think there's only one person that can handle all these plate spinnings, and that's Matt Reeves.
We'll see.
He's going to do with DC and the Batman what the Russo brothers did with the Avengers
Maybe
movie.
you need a duo. Who's to say?
But he's going to do half the work because it's only half a team. But, so, you know, it's the Batman. That's why he's high up on our list, but we kind of knocked him down a little bit because there's too many variables. Plus, we've already had too many incantations of Batman. We've had Adam West, our first Batman, what we thought Batman should be. Then we had Michael Keaton, who blew our expectations and said Batman could be something else. Then we had Val Kilmer, George Clooney, and the greatest of them all, Kevin Conroy?
Kevin Feige.
Kevin
O'Connell.
Yeah, with the voice and everything. He's awesome. Then we had somebody that completely blew our expectations and we thought we'd never get another good Batman.
Peter
Christian
Weller.
Bale.
Oh.
Christian Bale. Then there's Ben Affleck, and then now there's Robert Pattinson, who is Twilight. So
He is Twilight, that is right. He is that.
We can't take him seriously.
He is franchise.
We can't take him seriously, but we can...
That guy from Layer Cake? How can I trust him? Cedric Diggory? That guy died like a bitch. He didn't even win the Triwizard Tournament.
Alright, everybody, we're at number 1, and everyone playing at home and keeping track, you already know what number 1 is, but as a formality, we have to announce it. Number 1 is The Suicide Squad.
Oh, I guess I'm surprised that the Snyder Cut didn't make your list.
Yeah, I have
Honorable
notes on
mention?
that. I will get to that later. But Suicide Squad, I mean, what can go wrong? You got an ensemble cast of misfits coming together for a common cause another time.
It looks like they're guarding something. Guardians of you know, at least this local area. Maybe not as far-reaching as a galactic body, but maybe something a little more local.
Yes, and you know it's in the right hands, James Gunn, because Marvel never thought they would go into space, and when they decided to go into space on a gamble, they left it into the hands of James Gunn, who came up with something that is much better. He did it twice, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
People aren't as in much love with 2. I like 2 more than 1, but I'm in the minority here. But yes, they're both successful franchise movies people like, and whatever minor helping hands he had in helping with the Avengers, you know, 3 and 4, sure.
And also, he did such a great job with those space adventures that Kevin Feige himself handpicked James Gunn to be in charge of the galactic stuff as far as Marvel goes.
Is there a question?
No, it's just that...
You like the dude?
It's just that Guardians of the Galaxies, everybody agrees, is far superior than that new Star Wars stuff.
So first, you know, because I'm the master of the callback, seeing like, oh, all the fun from Wonder Woman got sucked out and got put into Suicide Squad, and we didn't even see a trailer for Suicide Squad. We got like a marketing whatever where you just see all the characters, and then you got to see a behind the scenes stuff, which was just a bunch of jungle. But seeing the costumes and how they look so stupid, and I say that in the best way possible, is just there's so many people that look like dumb garbage one-off characters that most of these characters are dumb one-off characters, that it brings me joy to see a movie that seems to want to focus heavily on those dumb nonsense characters. It's kind of bringing into greater focus what the Lego Batman movie did, where it had Calendar Man or like Eggman, or it had a bunch of weird dumb characters, but now they're gonna be in the spotlight in this movie. Like I don't care much for Gorilla Grodd or Killer Croc or whatever.
King Shark.
But King Shark looks cool just because it's just a street shark, and it might bring that much joy to people who are fans of street sharks that to see that there's a shark wearing pants on the big screen in their multi-million-dollar big budget movie. Polka Dot Man, he throws polka dots. I don't know I'm never gonna do research on these characters, but there's a guy that throws polka dots, and that's all I need. And he's like the Russian guy from Ant-Man, so he's pretty good at stuff. Michael Rooker looks like a stupid weird guy with long white hair. Flula, who's kind of internet, kind of popular, is a guy that throws javelins. John Cena calls himself a douchebag Captain America. Like, this movie has way more style and just looks a lot more interesting just on the basis of it's being made by a guy who's good at ensembles and kind of relishes in stupidity in the best ways. So I have nothing but the utmost confidence in this. Also, he made his brother a pseudo rocket in this.
Wow. What does the character look like?
It looks like a raggedy cat, and his name is Weasel.
I'm hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. And all it took was, what was that, test footage? A behind-the-scenes glimpse?
Pretty much.
We didn't even get a real trailer.
Well, just the, character marquees? Whatever, I'm making words up. But just, it's just, oh, here's the guys and their logos. Oh, Nathan Fillion's gonna be in this big movie. People who are in the know of nerd stuff love Nathan Fillion. Glad to see him in a big movie, too.
Yeah.
Isn't he, the lead in Slither? I don't remember.
Yes, he is. Sheriff of the town.
There you go.
Also gets the girl, even though she's married. That's the kind of guy he is. He gets all the babes and saves the world.
Any other characters I'm missing for Suicide Squad? Sure,
yes.
You got your Harley Quinns and your Rick Flags and your Captain Boomerangs.
The man with the voice. He was the bad guy in Hobbs and Shaw, and he's known for doing the voice of Shere Khan. So it's interesting how we were talking about everything before Suicide Squad looked serious. Wonder Woman looked serious. The Batman looked serious. And it seems like they were trying to go for a serious tone so they don't upstage the Suicide Squad.
I suppose. But I don't think there's any way you could have upstaged it. I would say more people were more anticipatory for the Batman because everybody loves Batman always. Because there's less rioting on Suicide Squad because anything, no matter what you do, anything will be better than the last one. So, I mean, you exceeded my expectations, Jimmy.
And now we're going to get into the reason why Zack Snyder Justice League cut was not in our top 5. And I guess because Zack Snyder's back playing in the WB sandbox, there's that tone again where everything has to be dark and depressing and brooding. But this is a do-over. Zack Snyder's cut is a do-over. Avengers, we got 4 Avengers movies and it ended very well. I mean, I'm still satisfied. I'm to the point where I'm okay if I don't see another comic book movie come out for 2 years or 3 years because Avengers Infinity War was just on the top of my list, and then Avengers Endgame just wrapped everything up nicely. And Zack Snyder, we're getting a redo of the same movie all over again, and my brain cannot wrap around the idea that supposedly Zack Snyder shot the whole movie, and then I don't know if it was the studio or the producers that said, you know what? We should just do this movie all over again and completely different.
I'm curious because in the whole fast-tracking everything with Batman versus Superman, like going pretty much from Captain America to Captain America Civil War immediately in one step. So then I think they were trying to backpedal and trying to be Avengers, which is why you get the guy who made the first Avengers. Yeah. So they try to go for humor and they try to go for ensemble and all this. So I'm curious if maybe there's like a lot of the movie is just kind of them broken up, and you don't, for a movie called Justice League, maybe you don't see them united until the 3rd act or 4th act, because rumor has it that this is going to be 4 hours long, but it might be episodic. It might be like Hateful Eight extended, where it's just a bunch of 1 hour bits. We'll see. I don't know. I never research the disclaimer. I never research anything. This is just what I hear from hearsay. All I'm saying is all hearsay. So
that's good enough for me.
It's that. But at least, even if it's bad, well, so HBO Max has the Ultimate Cut or whatever, Batman versus Superman.
Ooh, I should see that. Everyone says it makes more sense.
It makes it a little bit better. I'm pretty sure. I mean, at the expense of an extra half hour or however long it takes, because that was already like two and change or something, and it was pretty long and not super rewatchable. But hopefully that Ultimate Cut makes it better. So hopefully, if you flesh out a Snyder story, maybe Justice League can stand on its own. Hopefully. I guess I'm mostly curious about what the differences are, like how much of the story is changed, or how much was it actually reshot? Because there are bits and pieces that seem pretty one-to-one, I think. At least the final scene of like Steppenwolf fighting Superman looked the same, so it eventually leads there. It abandoned Chernobyl or whatever nonsense, fake Russia, Sokovia, DC Sokovia, whatever. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a little more coherent and enjoyable. But at the end of the day, I guess I'm happy that Snyder gets to make artistically what he wanted to originally after suffering through a tragic event like losing a loved one.
Yeah, poor guy. From what I've heard, when the first Justice League movie came out, people said that there was about 50% was his and 50% was brand new footage. But with this new marketing material coming out for the Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut, everyone online is acting like it's a brand new movie. Like I said earlier, everyone was acting like there was one version that was shot that was Zack Snyder's, and then the studio decided, hey, why don't we just shoot it again?
I wasn't paying attention. Reiterate that.
Okay, so, it's just the way that the internet's acting. Once the promotional material came out for the Zack Snyder cut, the way everybody on the internet was acting was like there's two different versions of the movie. There's the Joss Whedon version, and then there's a Zack Snyder cut, which is completely different. But if we think back to when the first Justice League movie came out, they said that half of it was Zack Snyder's, and then Joss Whedon stepped in to finish the rest, the other half.
Yeah, that kind of does feel like Warner Brothers marketing. It becomes obvious which one is the Joss Whedon cut, or the Joss Whedon version, if you see a bloated Ben Affleck who stopped caring and started drinking and just was on the precipice right before, going into rehab. So there's bits and pieces there, I guess. If tonally it doesn't meld with the previous entry, then maybe you can tell that. We'll see. I think a lot of people say, oh yeah, it was just mostly Joss Whedon with barely any Snyder. That's why I'm interested once the Snyder cut comes out. How much is different? How much is the same? Will the actors in the movie look a little more overjoyed that they're working with somebody that they enjoyed potentially working with over maybe Joss Whedon was a douche? It's hard to say. That's just the statement from one guy. One guy. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, so what we can tell and what we've heard is that the Zack Snyder cut's going to focus more. It's going to be the story of Cyborg. So maybe that's where the complaint came in. Maybe the actor that played Cyborg, I believe his name is Ray, was maybe he was upset that he was the focal point of the movie, and when Joss Whedon stepped in, that completely changed, and it was now Wonder Woman and Batman show.
Seems weird. So Cyborg was made of the mother boxes, so he is part MacGuffin. Joss Whedon made Age of Ultron, where Vision was made of a Mind Stone, so he was part MacGuffin. And then you're technically remaking the same character, because they're both robot guys made of MacGuffins. And for some reason you decided to dial back the MacGuffin guy in one, and then I guess he wasn't that much of a big thing in Age of Ultron. I guess Age of Ultron really traumatized Joss Whedon.
Yeah. And I guess maybe the studio told him, hey, they're focusing too much on this one character who's not one of the heavy hitters. We need to focus more on the heavy hitters, on Wonder Woman and Batman.
My brain went on a tangent, but hopefully you'll follow along my through line. So We can't tell the Ron Howard cut from the Lord and Miller cut of Solo: A Star Wars Story. They said a lot of it was reshot, but now I'm curious how, like, if I can get a Lord and Miller cut to see if it's that much better or worse.
Alrighty, you heard it here, everybody. We need to start the. We did a good job on hashtag release the Snyder cut. Now we need to start a new one. Hashtag release the.
Lord and Miller, Miller and Lord.
Yeah, release that cut, Disney. We want to see the Solo that cut.
Now, I guess the next question is, well, I guess Flashpoint's going to erase everything, but I'm curious if the expectation from Justice League is that maybe it can help course correct whatever their plans were for this DC universe, cinematic universe. It'd be nice to know. It probably won't factor in. I'm pretty sure. Let's assume that whatever happens in the Batman won't be affected by whatever's in Wonder Woman, and Flashpoint's just gonna, oh, whatever, none of it matters, who cares? You might see the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix and Robert Pattinson hanging out, maybe. I kind of doubt you'll see Gal G and Robert Pattinson. I don't foresee that. We'll you never know. I don't know if Aquaman's gonna factor in. Are we having like an A and B DC universe where Batman's gonna live on his own, and then you're gonna have an Aquaman 2 whenever that comes out, and Aquaman, Flash, and Wonder Woman, those are their own things? It's all a weird, jumbled, muddled mess, and I really like Warner to get their S together.
I think if they're gonna follow the Flash TV show, we're gonna get different Earths. Earth 84, which would be Michael Keaton, and no, I'm sorry, that wasn't 84, right?
Batman 89?
Yeah, so we'll have Earth 89, which is Michael Keaton, and then I guess we'll have Earth 2000 and something, which is Ben Affleck, and then I guess Robert Pattinson is a different Earth, a multiverse, if you will.
Probably. Or maybe they're just not going to really do a universe thing right now. Maybe they're going to let all of these franchises kind of run their course and then reboot their franchise, I guess. Let Robert Pattinson gets his own trilogy. Maybe Wonder Woman gets her own trilogy. Aquaman gets his own trilogy, whatever. Maybe you'll slowly, veer the path towards, rebooting in the middle of these franchises or something, or course correcting. I don't know. We'll see.
We can't wait. I guess we'll have to wait until either, 2 or 3 years when all of this comes down the pipeline, or next year when they do another DC Fandome. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us and watching and staying till the end. You are filled with so much DC knowledge, and it was a pleasure to serve it up. If you want to hear more about our content, hit that subscribe button. If you like the hard work we do, we accept likes. And that's all for now. Till the next one.